Monday, September 25th, and welcome back. It was a great weekend for me, my family, the Plus. Yesterday, I don't know how it happened. Maybe it was the brisket videos I was putting out. I don't know. Check those YouTube shorts if you want a little backyard brisket done right. We had one of the largest viewed days in the history of this channel on a Sunday where the 49ers didn't even play. So that means they're doing great. By the time I post today's podcast, we will have had more podcast downloads this month than in any other month we've been doing it. So let me begin with a big Monday welcome and thank you for all your support, your patronage. It means the world. Thank you so very much. I see so many friendly names, so many friends already just chatting away with each other long before I even get in here. So just awesome stuff. And thank you so much for being a big part of this. Very interesting week 3 around the NFL, right? Few themes that we've been talking about all year were on full display this weekend. Let's start with the fact that neither Kyle Shanahan nor John Lynch have been anywhere around a hot seat. I mean, I've actually heard people talking about how after this year, if they don't win the Super Bowl, it's officially time to move on and go to guys that could. It's ridiculous. Some of the people out there and their talking points posing as actual people who cover football. The full confidence of ownership was displayed with a still details unknown contract extension between Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. Neither of those guys is going anywhere anytime soon. And why would either guy be asked to go anytime soon? The success that the 49ers have enjoyed still has not been that ultimate level of success of winning a Super Bowl. But any other measurement of success around football, one of the hardest to find measurements of success around football, consistency is something that this team puts on the field nearly each and every week. And this past weekend, as you looked around week 3 of the NFL, examples of how hard it is, how impossible it is to be consistent were all over the place, all over the field, everywhere you look, everywhere you turn. Nearly everything broke perfectly, by the way, for the 49ers this weekend. You had the kink in the Cowboys' armor get exposed as they lose Trayvon Diggs for the season, and they lose a game in Arizona in week 3. No one really had that coming. Survivor pools got blown up yesterday with that upset Arizona win. Remember, one of the questions we had last week was, hey, Damon, what about the Dallas Cowboys? And I said, what about the Dallas Cowboys? You play Arizona before you play the Dallas Cowboys, and if you look past a team, that's how you fall into a trap game. I'm not saying the Cowboys fell into a trap game. They were dealing with a big banged-up offensive line and the devastating Diggs season-ending ACL tear in practice from earlier in the week. But you put a running game out there against the Cowboys defense. They had trouble stuffing it. And you put Dak Prescott scrambling, playing come-from-behind football, and that's really not what he's best at. So little bit of a blueprint maybe on how the 49ers can get to the Cowboys. But first, like I said, you got to get through Arizona, and Arizona looked pretty chippy on Sunday. It really did. The Falcons, they caught a loss. They fell from the ranks of the unbeaten. You have the Saints catching a loss and a little shoulder injury to Derek Carr. We'll see how severe that is. But the Saints catch a loss in Green Bay. The Washington Commanders, they catch their first loss of the year. And either the Eagles or the Buccaneers are going to lose or tie, I guess, is a possibility. Tonight, they're one of the 2 Monday Night Football games, meaning that tomorrow morning, when we get to Tuesday morning, the 49ers and whoever survives, Eagles and Buccaneers tonight, will be the 2 remaining unbeaten teams in the NFC. Maybe the Rams also catch a loss tonight at desperate Cincinnati. We'll see what they look like. The only thing that really didn't break perfectly for the 49ers, just in terms of how are they stacking up against everyone, was the fact that Seattle won yesterday. That's the only thing that went wrong for the 49ers. It was a game that Seattle was supposed to win, and they did win it. So it's not a surprise, but had Carolina upset the Seahawks, that would have been the absolute perfect afternoon. Nearly perfect is pretty good. Whenever you're offered nearly perfect, you should take it. And by the way, that is going to be the theme of our playlist when we get to the AMP app and the VIP room after the show. By the way, we're up and broadcasting live on AMP right now. It is a simulcast to go along with the YouTube presentation. So if you ever aren't around your computer, but you got your phone in your pocket and you don't want to dial up YouTube, you can go ahead and dial up that AMP app and you can follow me there. And today we have a playlist that is over a half an hour long of songs that I would say are practically perfect. Even if you didn't like the artist, even if you didn't like the genre, even a harsh critic would have to say that song, it's practically perfect. And it was nearly a practically perfect week 3 for the 49ers. So off to a very interesting start this week, to say the least. We're going to go through some of these games and thumb through them and tell you about a couple of other things that happened this weekend as well here on a Monday. Again, good to see you. Good to see so many names of friendly faces. What do we got over here? We got Yosarian say, shout out Mr. Perfect and the Perfect Plex. Yeah, there was a finishing move. The Perfect Plex. Yeah, shout out Mr. Perfect at all times. Why wouldn't we? But we got True Blue Forever. We got Otis Bird. We got R.I.P. Cougar Rebel. We got Chef Amy. We got Michelle. We got all the regulars in here. Postman Capitola. Oi, oi, oi! Postman gets an oi, oi, oi. So look, on full display in week 3 is how hard all of this truly, really is. Time in, time out. It's really hard to be consistent in the NFL. And the fact that consistency hasn't been good enough for some fans, again, these fans have been sold a hill of magic beans by, I don't want to say a con artist, but by somebody who doesn't know anything about the magic beans they're selling to you. Okay? The 49ers are a model that other teams want to be like. They're not this dysfunctional, underachieving, can't win it all, constantly making the wrong decisions and draft picks, and because of the Trey Lance thing alone, they all need to be fired. Like, that is ridiculous talk from someone who is not tethered to actual reality. Reality is that being consistent is a very hard thing to do in football, and all you had to do was watch week 3 without the Niners to reach that conclusion. It's amazing how football keeps telling you who does and doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. It's all over the place. What is also all over the place, including, I believe, a new shop that is going to be opening in Palo Alto on Wednesday. Another Ike's coming to the Bay Area. Hopefully there is an Ike's coming to you. I had a delicious Ike sandwich over the weekend. I got myself a menage a trois. Oh, yes. Little halal chicken, little honey on that. I think there's some wasabi mayo, something spicy on that. I don't even know what the hell's in that sandwich, but like so many Ike sandwiches, just get it. It's freaking delicious. Trust me. Take my runner's body as proof of how delicious Ike sandwiches really are. Go ahead and pick yourself one up today. Order one right off the Ike app. Join the rewards program. And Ike even told me he might be stopping by the chat tomorrow to sprinkle some free sandwiches to anyone who might be able to make it on down to Palo Alto. So make sure you're back here tomorrow at 11, like all good Plusers always are. We might even feed you tomorrow. We will definitely tell you where to go for a delicious bottle of whiskey, and that is to Bevmo to pick up a bottle of Blackened. I love me some Blackened whiskey. I was in a little bit of a bottle with my boy GQ, who came over for a little brisket party that we had with the in-laws last night. Again, when you make a brisket, you invite people over for dinner. We had the brisket, and then we had the Blackened, and we really enjoyed both. Find out for yourself why it is the talk of the whiskey world, at least the whiskey world that the Plus is running. Get yourself into a Bevmo, and if your local liquor store doesn't pick up Blackened, tell them to, and you will be all about it. Speaking of all about it, my t-shirt, right? This says, "In Steph we trust." I should be wearing a t-shirt that says, "In Stephen we trust." It sounds like I'm lying to you. I'm not. Another perfect 5-0 NFL weekend for Stefan. I don't know how he does it. This is like mathematically impossible to win this often when you're going up against the number in Las Vegas. But my man has done it again. He delivered nothing but winners on Thursday night. He delivered nothing but winners all weekend long. And I'm telling you, if you have just been taking Stefan's advice on bottomlinebets.com and you've been rolling it over, you're up thousands of dollars right now. My man is on fire. I am not bullshitting you. Find out for yourself. Daily, weekly, monthly subscriptions. He also is running a special right now, which will get you the remainder of the football season. And that includes more than just his football picks. Find out for yourself. Go to bottomlinebets.com. The bottom line is Stefan wins. Sign up daily, weekly, monthly, and then the Uber package is available for you too. If you've been rolling with Stefan through this football season, you are already eaten at the French Laundry. That's how good of a year you've had in just 3 weeks with my man Stefan. I'm not bullshitting you. Go check it out for yourself. Find out for yourself. And then Damon, where do I go actually make that bet? I'm glad you asked. You go to mybookie.ag. Mybookie.ag is an offshore account, which means you can use it from anywhere, whether your state that you live in has approved online betting or not. You can make your bets at mybookie.ag and use promo code Damon when you sign up for 50% deposit match up to $1,000 and a $10 casino chip, because they got a whole casino floor in there for you. Check out props, action, all kinds of fun stuff is there for you on mybookie.ag. Use promo code Damon when you sign up. Again, if it's hard to be consistent in the NFL, you know how even harder it is to be consistent in Las Vegas? Man, my man Stefan is just fuego. It's fuego. Just find out for yourself. Again, stop listening to me. Go find out for yourself. If you can't appreciate consistency in the absence of a Lombardi trophy, you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to covering this league. This is a talking point that has put me at odds with some people. They're wrong. I'm right. So fuck them. And it's good that you're here. Thank you very, very much. What we have are, through 3 weeks, basically every single team in this league has shown you how up and down any week could go. Look at it this way. Through 3 weeks, unless it's all been down, everyone has shown you the nature of up and down football that you get in the NFL, regardless of who your opponent is. Oh, that's an easy team to beat. Okay. Dallas, welcome to Arizona. You know, it's not easy to win anywhere against anybody in this league, especially with performances that border on consistent. You got smart coaches, smart assistant coaches, great players all over this league, breaking down other teams' strategies on such a granular level. There is no way to, fake the NFL's algorithm. You can't. You can't fake football. That's how hard this league is. Well, unless you're the 49ers, I guess, because consistency is the hallmark of what Kyle Shanahan has put together. They have so far this year, through 3 weeks, scored 30 points, and then they scored 30 points, and then they scored 30 points. You know how hard it is to be that consistent over 3 weeks? Look around the damn league. You got a team like the Kansas City Chiefs having trouble with consistency. Offensively, first couple of weeks, they opened up against Detroit. That was a tougher game than anyone expected. Then they go down to Jacksonville, and they don't, ring the pinball machine left and right and put that game on tilt. Now they put the Bears on tilt, but the Bears are, again, you want to talk about consistently awful. We'll get to them in just a second. But really, Unbelievably impressive consistency from San Francisco. The 30 points against the New York Giants marks the 6th consecutive regular season game that the team has scored 30 or more points dating back to Week 16 of last year. That's the longest streak in franchise history. So this team has found more consistency with Mr. Irrelevant than it did with Joe Montana, Steve Young, and Bill Walsh. Do I have your full attention now as to how good this team could actually be? You know, for those of you demanding these physically perfect franchise quarterbacks, the physically imperfect Brock Purdy is doing better than every franchise quarterback that you got a fond memory of that has ever worn a 49ers jersey. Brock, Kyle have been better mathematically. There you go. Now, again, Damon, it's about a Lombardi trophy. I get it. You can how about this? I get that so implicitly, you can stop telling it to me. And I'm going to stop telling you that everybody wants a Lombardi trophy, and they don't just go handing these damn things out, and they're harder to win than most anything you could think of in sports. So just because your team failed to win a Lombardi trophy doesn't mean that they are equal parts failure to, oh, well, you either win the Lombardi trophy or you failed. Really? So the team that lost the Super Bowl is as big a failure as the team that has the number 1 pick in next year's draft? Is that your argument? Because if that's your argument, you're childish. You don't know shit about what you're actually looking at. Through 3 weeks of the season, the consistency of the 49ers shouldn't just be measured on the offensive side of the ball either. San Francisco has held opponents to just 159 total rushing yards the first 3 weeks of the year for the first time since 1970. They consistently put out a team that is brutal against the run, chases your quarterback down, and this defense is playing pretty darn well. And it hasn't, the 49ers haven't even had that, whoa, defensive football game yet. But it's coming. It's coming. Look, the Dallas Cowboys looked like world beaters in Week 1. They looked very good in Week 2, and they annihilated survivor pools nationwide with a Week 3 loss to the Arizona Cardinals. Consistency, it's hard to be in this league. You know, the Broncos, they lose their first 2 games of the year by a combined total of 3 points. On Sunday, they go down by 50. In Miami. So, you know, tell me about that level of consistency and how bad things can get. Again, the Chiefs, they sputter first 2 weeks of the year with mixed results. Chicago rolls into Arrowhead with Taylor Swift. Doors blown out. I don't know what got blown out of Taylor. I don't know if that's if her and Travis are anything other than a PR campaign. And, oh, there's also this. I don't care. I really don't care. If you're a Taylor Swift fan, here's what you're hoping for. You're hoping that this love is real and he absolutely shatters her heart and you'll get another really good Taylor Swift album in fall of 2024. There you go. I mean, this woman cranks out hits around breakups, right? Sip of the day. Sip of the day right there. That was fantastic. It was right on the money. No cream, no sugar, perfect temp. Just, you want to talk about blackened and perfect right there. That was fantastic. One of the other themes that the NFL's been touching on through its offseason headlines and some of the negotiations around these running backs, one of those themes was on full display just in the vacuum of Thursday night alone. You saw what the New York Giants looked like without Saquon Barkley. You saw what the 49ers looked like with Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey is so good at what he does. He's the highest paid running back in football, and look at the success that the team that he's on is having. You got the Giants screwing around with Saquon Barkley in the offseason. You got the running back position being devalued everywhere you look. Somebody said, look at that injury to Nick Chubb in Week 2 in Pittsburgh, and that's why you don't pay your running back. Well, look, anyone can get injured on the field. So why would you pay anybody who played in football? Because getting hurt could happen to anyone. Now, you do take more shots, obviously, as a running back. But This is the price of doing business in this league. And if you want to be a really good team, you're going to need a really good running back. Why don't you go ahead and ask the Las Vegas Raiders, who had a really good version of their running back, who they decided to dick around in the offseason. Josh Jacobs misses all of training camp, and the Raiders have forgotten to run the football, even though it's the same guy. Quit messing with your running backs, folks. Running backs are important. Smart teams know that. Smart teams understand that. And maybe one of the smartest teams in all of football made the biggest investment in the position that you're going to find in the 49ers. And since it's a copycat league, I wonder if there aren't a lot of teams going, geez, I wish we had a better running back right now. Including the postseason, by the way, Christian McCaffrey has scored one or more touchdowns in 12 consecutive games, the longest streak of any NFL player, and ties the second longest streak by the member of the 49ers. Jerry Rice had a longer streak in 1987. This is something else, by the way. You want to talk consistency? If you put $100 on a Christian McCaffrey scores a touchdown at any point in time in this game, and you started a dozen games ago with $100, and then you just took your winnings and rolled it over and rolled it over and rolled it over and then rolled it over and rolled it over and rolled it over and rolled it over, you'd be up $79,000 right now on an initial $100 investment. You keep on rolling the winnings over, you'd be up $79,000 on a Christian McCaffrey, does he score a touchdown today, prop bet. That's not bad. So it was a really good week for the 49ers. It was a fun weekend of football. Some games got away, but they were still even entertaining as they were getting away from some games. You had a fun weekend slate in college football. We'll get to a little of that in just a second. But I got to talk about the Sunday night game because it was Raiders and Steelers. And what is Josh McDaniels doing at the end of that game? I didn't understand it. I'm not sure what I was watching. He's down 8. He's got the ball with about 2.5 minutes left. He's got all 3 of his timeouts, and he's got the 2-minute warning. He is in field goal range, and he's looking at it like I think a 4th and 1, and then there is a penalty to make it 4th and 5. Either way, it's still go for it time. He doesn't go for it. He decides not to go for it. He settled for the field goal under the premise of, I think we can stop the clock and then we can get the ball back. But even when you get the ball back, you still need that touchdown. Again, you'll be playing to win, not tie at that point, but you still need the touchdown because you're down 8, so 3 here plus another field goal means you're 2 points short of winning this game. So you need a touchdown. And if you're playing with, the down 8 concept, you need 2-point conversion. I think, to me, it's always easier to assume score a touchdown here, 2-point conversion, than settle for points here, get the ball back somehow, and then go back down and score another. Like, there's too many moving parts to the way Josh McDaniel says he was thinking about this. So he settles for the field goal. So now he's down 5 points. But wait, the Steelers are offsides. So they take the points off the board and they keep on driving. The offense is back out on the field. Well, they get to another 4th down, and the only thing that's happened is Josh McDaniels, who liked the amount of time that he had on the clock before to play this game, has less time now on the clock. Less time, but he still sticks with the strategy of, I'm going to take the field goal and try to get the ball back because I got my timeouts and the 2-minute warning. But he doesn't have the time that he had when he was thinking about doing it this way the first time around. I just don't understand it. Oh, by the way, the Raiders lost. The Raiders lost. And I don't understand it. And, today he's up in front of the media talking about how he hasn't lost confidence in his offense. He hasn't lost confidence. Isn't this guy supposed to be an offensive genius who knows Jimmy Garoppolo's strengths and weaknesses very, very well and is going to make him in the right situation to go ahead and pick up the touchdown? I mean, I couldn't believe it as I was watching it. And this isn't second-guessing shit. I was tweeting about this in real time. So I don't get it. I don't get what the hell the Raiders were doing last night, but I know why they have a 1-2 start to the year. And it's because they spent this offseason nickel and dime a running back who had a type of year that screams, you can go ahead and pay me. They nickel and dime their running back. So far, and I got this from J.J. Kindred, who's a big Raiders fan, front office guy, played for the Raiders for a solid minute there. Anyway, big Raiders guy on Twitter, he said, Jimmy was hit a lot yesterday, that's for sure, but 3 games in, passing plays, they've had 98 passing plays for a 7.5-yard average. That's pretty good. Their running plays, they've had 63 of them over 3 games, and they're averaging 2.9 yards. Last year, running the football, the Raiders averaged 4.8 yards. So they basically, with an offseason where they decided to play penny pinching with their best running back in the NFL statistically last year, got them a Josh Jacobs who showed up this year, and he goes from being one of the best running backs in football to just a guy. That's all he is. Josh Jacobs is just a guy, and he's just a guy because he probably fell out a little bit of love with the Raiders. His offseason workout might have taken. I mean, I don't know what his personal discipline is, but look, you don't go messing with something when it works. The Raiders fucked around, and now they're finding out that their league best, one of the league best running backs that they had last year, hasn't done jack so far this year. Why is that? Well, probably because they screwed around with him a little when it was unnecessary to do so. At least it looked like it was unnecessary to do so. If you've been following me for a really long time, if you've been listening to a nearly 20-year-long radio career before we plopped over here to YouTube and decided, we'll just dominate the entire Bay Area sports scene from right here in my rumpus room downstairs. You can go back and you'll find that I'm not a fire everybody guy. I don't do the fire everybody show very often. I think firing everybody is rarely the answer, rarely the cure to whatever disease has infected a team. But I already think we've stumbled upon a few fire everybody cases here in the NFL. In Chicago, it's time for everyone to be fired. Everyone. Even the janitor at Hallis Hall probably could be improved upon. The Chicago Bears 2023 NFL season has already included the following: a staggeringly embarrassing, incompetent, impotent 40-10 loss to punctuate an 0-3 start at Arrowhead on Sunday. You've had a defensive coordinator who resigned under mysterious circumstances where he might have done something creepy or something, or who knows? No one knows. So there's no real transparency. Nobody knows what happened, but something very abnormal tried to be dismissed as normal by the Bears, which means they're lying to themselves and you all at the same time. You've had a quarterback calling out a coach, and he might not be wrong, and at the same time, he might not be the quarterback that is going to be successful anywhere in football, because look, Justin Fields can really run with the ball. If you got a quarterback who can only really run with the ball, you don't really have a quarterback, do you? And when it comes to throwing it, it's not very good. Chicago now has a losing streak that has gone back 13 consecutive games. Clearly hunting another top 3 pick in the next draft. They're awful. They are awful. So it's time to say goodbye to everybody. I mean, really, just there's nothing there. From Eberflus to the quarterback to the GM to everything, even Kevin Warren is the new president of the whole damn operation. Like, you can't even pick a place to build your new stadium, you douchebags. Fucking Bears. Again, I'm not a big fire everybody guy, but I think I've seen enough over a couple years here from this group to know it ain't going to work. And that brings me to the Denver Broncos. Because let's face it, they saddled themselves to Russell Wilson with a contract that has all the earmarks of going down as one of the worst contracts in the history of professional sports. This thing looks ridiculous. And it's looking worse by the day and by the fact that there isn't anyone in Denver including every single member of the Denver Broncos who thinks that they will ever win anything significant with this quarterback, but the new head coach, he's going to change everything, right? Guess not. I know you can't just walk away from a quarterback who you still have like $100 million guaranteed to give him, but it's time. I mean, you should just eat all that dead cap money and just start developing another quarterback, because Russell Wilson, even if he does improve, isn't going to be around long enough to improve with the entire team needing to improve around him. And the Denver Broncos need another head coach, and they need one right now. Sean Payton came in to be the cure-all. I've got this. I know what I'm doing. Well, wasn't that loss in Miami yesterday on one afternoon the equivalent of the stacks of incompetent afternoons that Nathaniel Hackett put together when he was the head coach of the Denver Broncos? I mean, my God. They gave up 70. They lost by 50. To say that the Russell Wilson, Sean Payton era is dead on arrival is the truth. And the Dolphins killed it. They will never win shit. There's no coming back from that. There's no coming back. There's no way Sean Payton can sell in his locker room ever that I've got this. You follow me. I know the way. You can't. You just lost. You just got 70 points put on you. You lose by 50. You're done. You're done. And I know that Sean Payton is 3 games into a long-term contract, and Russell Wilson still has many more years of guaranteed contractual opportunities. They should get rid of both of those guys right now. Neither one of them is going to win shit. Ever. It's just going to happen. I know it in my heart. Damon, how can you predict the future? When you get beat like that, there's no coming back. There's no winning the room back. You just lost by 50 on a professional football field. You're done. Your credibility is done. Done. The Denver Broncos are a dumpster fire. And even if they were just a little kindling, little burning, little smoke coming from the dumpster, after a combined 2 losses by a combined 3 points, to then lose by 50 in Miami means you got no credibility with any one of your players ever again. I saw as dejected a couple of post-game interviews out of that Denver Broncos locker room in Miami yesterday. It was the entire team is absolutely giving up on the concept of this working in any way, shape, or form. Sort of like the San Francisco Giants, but we'll get to them in a second. How's everybody in that chat doing? Everyone feeling good? Everyone feeling good over here? Oh, Fish and Chips is feeling good. Look at that. Can Fozzie Bear do a better job as the Chicago Bears head coach? Hey, waka waka. Look at that. Using the King's Pound. Thank you very, very much, Fish and Chips. I'm going to scroll back real quick. Did I miss any other supers? I hope not. I guess not. All right. We go on. We go on. Again, as bad as everything was for the Denver Broncos in Miami, look, I'm not saying that you should throw ever a parade for a regular season win, but that's about as close as it comes. What a weekend for the Miami Dolphins. And you had Mike McDaniel, who had to have mentioned in his post-game press conference, like, yeah, I could have set the single-game NFL scoring record to go along with the single-game yardage record today, but, karma, so I'm not going to do that. They didn't need to do it. What they did was such an unbelievable depancing of another professional football team. Like, again, that's not really available in football. You're not allowed to beat anybody by 50 in this league. That just doesn't happen. How about this? It certainly hasn't happened. Giving up 70 points in my lifetime. So I've never seen anything quite like that before. Guy named Andrew Hawkins on Twitter broke it all down. He said, that Mike McDaniel actually grew up in Denver. He was a Broncos ball boy as a kid, and that's where he met Kyle Shanahan and the McCaffrey family first time around. He was a coaching intern with the franchise in 2005. And then when the Broncos had a head coaching vacancy in 22, they didn't even bother interviewing him. So Sunday, his wildly entertaining offense puts up the most points in an NFL game since 1966. That is savage. That's, again, Sean Payton can never walk into that Denver Broncos locker room with a game plan that he can sell like he sold everyone that I got a game plan to compete with Miami today. And then you see what Miami does. Everyone in Denver should be fired immediately. But they owe him way too much money to do that. I don't care. It's never going to work. Again, the best time to get out of a lousy investment is today. Every day you wait is a day worse. Although I really don't know, what the Broncos are supposed to do looking for a new head coach and new quarterback going into week 4. It seems a little unavailable too. So I guess they just all have to die.
Hello, Denver Broncos. I see that you are struggling. 70 points you gave up. You have my permission to die.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, what is also pretty unbelievable and empirical proof that, once again, the 49ers are a model franchise that other teams want to be more like, not less like, is just look at what's happening to Kyle's former assistants as NFL head coaches. Now, poor Robert Saleh, he's in for a season of hurt. But, the year that he was supposed to have turned into something wildly different when Aaron Rodgers went down 4 plays into his Jets career. They said, by the way, they're going to roll with Kevin Wilson. Rolling with Kevin Wilson is going to get them a top 3-4 pick. And in a year full of quarterbacks, it's probably a thing that they need. So the Jets need to wash out this year to put themselves in best position for next year. Any talk of firing, Robert Saleh is a little unfair, but that's Sports Talk Radio in New York. But you look at Kyle's other assistants, again, Mike McDaniel, 3 weeks into this year, has pretty much wrapped up NFL head coach of the year, right? I mean, he has been unbelievable. The Dolphins are as entertaining a watch as you're going to find anywhere in this league right now. Tyreek Hill is unbelievable. Tua is finding them everywhere. They got backup quarterbacks coming in and throwing 60-yard bombs. It's bad. It's bad for everyone in the NFL when you're playing the Miami Dolphins. You got a handful of problems coming at you with a fascinating offense that's got eye candy everywhere. Again, 70 points. It's the most in a game since 1966. Mike McDaniel, his team became the first in NFL history with 5 rushing and passing touchdowns in the same game. Single game yardage record. I mean, this guy cranks out offense. Wow. DeMeco Ryans, by the way. The Houston Texans have an awful lot of room to improve just about everywhere, but they got themselves a quarterback. Looks like it anyways, if we're going to take the first 3 impressions that we get of somebody and try to use that to define what they might be. Rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud, he led Houston to an upset win over Jacksonville on Sunday. He threw for 280 yards with 2 touchdowns, and he became the first quarterback in NFL history to have at least 900 passing yards with 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in his first 3 career starts. It's pretty good. That's really good, C.J. Stroud. So again, I like DeMeco Ryans. It's no problem to hop on that Houston Texans bandwagon. There's plenty of room. If you're looking for a little AFC team to root for, you got Josh McDaniels. You got Robert Saleh, and you got DeMeco. You got Kyle assistants everywhere. And then if you look at the Shanahan coaching tree and include other coordinators working in other places now. I saw this from Albert Breer. 3 of the top 8 offenses in the NFL right now are from the Shanahan coaching tree. And if you want to include Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers themselves in this statistic, that's 4 of the top 8 offenses in football come from Kyle's concepts and his pre-snap motion, and the four of the top 8 offenses, San Francisco's, Miami's, Minnesota, and the LA Rams, are all direct descendants of Kyle Shanahan, his teachings, his philosophies, and that's why Kyle just got extended. That's why John Lynch just got extended. By the way, how do we not have the details on that? Come on, tell us. What the hell? So a lot of interesting stuff on display in week 3, and you can kind of draw all these different lines back to the 49ers. It's pretty interesting. It really is. Drew Down on the text line. Broncos stink. That is the correct analysis. That is the correct analysis. Otis, he's just being friendly here. The Broncos may be done. May be done? Dude, they're cooked. It's over. You don't get up off the deck to fight hard again, ever, for a coach that has a 70 spot dropped on them. It's over. It's over right now. The Sean Payton, Russell Wilson era in Denver is dead. Right now, they'll never be handed a Lombardi trophy. I don't even think they'll ever even see the postseason. It's a disaster. And let me tell you what also could be a little bit of a disaster. Not looking past the Arizona Cardinals in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, the Arizona Cardinals should have put the fear of, I don't know about the fear of God, but the fear of any NFL team back into the 49ers if they were going to think about going to that game looking past, overconfident. I don't think they're going to find that anymore. The Cardinals just ran for 222 yards on that Dallas defense. Now, the Cardinals are not going to run for 222 yards on the 49ers defense, but that is a red alert right there to have everybody Johnny on the spot with their assignments coming up against Arizona, a team you might have looked past. I don't think you're looking past them anymore. You shouldn't have in the first place. But think about it. The Cardinals just ran for 222 yards on the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, my God. Kyle's got to be thinking hot knife through butter when they get on our schedule, right? You basically had James Conner just beating the Cowboys defense running off tackle. I mean, you get to the outside, there was room to be had on the Dallas Cowboys defense. So there's no doubt that Kyle noticed that too. The Cowboys also had major offensive line problems. If that doesn't get fixed by the time they get to Levi's Stadium, that's going to make things hard for Dak Prescott. So they got 2 weeks to fix that or they're in trouble. It was an awfully fun weekend of college football. Just entertain me, college football. That's all I'm asking for. Had my Hoosiers post a triple overtime win over Akron. Took 3 overtimes to beat Akron. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I will say this about Akron, though, that's kind of cool. First of all,
No sound effect for Dave Feldhouse.
But they have a turnover tire. You've seen turnover chains. They actually put like a 22-inch Goodyear radial around a dude's neck, and he walks around with the turnover tire. I do respect the turnover tire. Colorado got absolutely pantsed up in Oregon. It was to be expected, but I didn't think it was going to get that bad because I thought Colorado had a little bit more of a punch to throw at Oregon, but you saw the difference between we've been really good for a decade and we've been good through one transfer portal. That was the difference there. And Oregon has been cashing in on elite recruits for years now. Colorado has been finding a few elite recruits for months now. And it all added up to where things got loose in Oregon for sure. The Ducks were really, really good. They are the premier program of the West Coast, not named USC. That's for sure. Although I do see you, Washington, my man Michael Penix Jr., IU transfer. Michael Penix Jr., dark horse for a Heisman. That guy throws lasers. And Cal was on the receiving end of those lasers. Cal went down big at Husky Stadium. Notre Dame and Ohio State had a really dramatic finish in South Bend. The Buckeyes, they score a touchdown on the final play of the game. I guess the Irish only had 10 men on the field for the last 2 plays of that game. That's not great. But that was a really fun, entertaining game. You had Ryan Day, motherfucking Lou Holtz for whatever reason on the way out. I mean, I didn't have that on my Saturday bingo card. So, fun weekend of football, which is good because baseball is essentially done here in the Bay Area, and that's where we're going to wrap up today, basically. San Francisco Giants baseball, what can I tell you? Nothing like it. They are home against the Padres for their final home series of the season beginning this evening. The Giants have played themselves practically, yet not mathematically yet, out of the postseason, and they're playing themselves into a possibility of even having a losing season. They're 2 games under 500. How'd they get there? Well, going 2-8 in your last 10 games will get you there. I thought the highlight of the weekend series in L.A. was Mike Yastrzemski forgetting how many outs there were at Dodger Stadium. That's always a moment that is cloaked in glory. So the Giants begin their final series with the Padres, dead even with the Padres. The most disappointing team in the National League, San Diego Padres, and the Giants are now tied, exact same records. The good news is they're not, for the Giants, there are not enough games remaining to finish in dead last place in the National League West. But, 4th place is out there for Farhan, his abacus, and Gabe Kapler. You want to talk about, I think we've seen enough there. I don't see how the Giants could bring that back and think, oh, yeah, this will solve our attendance problems. Embarrassing. Logan Webb should get another soul-crushing amount of run support tonight because the Giants lineup will be struggling mightily against Blake Snell, who's looking to finish off a Cy Young campaign, and boy, he's got the right team to do that against tonight. Meanwhile, the A's drew 13,000 to their final home game of the year, maybe ever. I don't know if anyone even cares anymore, but it's official. With 108 losses and 6 left to play, this team at 109 losses, and don't tell me they're about to go 6-0 to finish the year, so they're going to lose at least another game, and when they get to 109 losses, that will indeed make them the losingest franchise in Oakland A's history. You still got a Philadelphia A's team that lost more than any of these, and there's not enough games left to even catch them. But second most losses in franchise history, the most amount of losses in Oakland history. All I can tell you is it's the one perfectly designed plan of John Fisher's entire life. It's the one thing he did right. This talentless, feckless fucker of an owner did one thing correctly in his entire ownership, and that was scuttle the ability to win or be interested in his franchise in a year where he wants to move them to Las Vegas. So John Fisher, fuck off. You're the worst. You are bad for ball. And I want to wrap up by telling you that Mychael Urban was, of course, good for ball. Mychael Urban, who was a friend of a lot of Bay Area sports fans. He did a lot of shows on KNBR and 95.7 The Game. He was on TV for a long time covering the Giants. Urban. Always get the two. It sounds alike, right? But Mychael Urban sadly took his own life. And this past weekend was the ceremony that was his celebration of life. I saw his father get up and eulogize his son. His brother did the same thing. That has got to be as difficult a thing to do in a human's life. The two of them handled themselves with aplomb in this incredibly difficult time. There were a few guys from the station who showed up, and it was nice to see them. I won't tell you who it was because in the same breath, I'd be telling you who it wasn't. And I don't want to make anybody look good or bad, but I will tell you about one person who did show up to the Mychael Urban, I'm so sorry, I keep on saying it, the Mychael Urban celebration of life. Barry Zito was there. Barry Zito lives in Nashville now. He's not up in Marin or Tiburon anymore. He lives in Nashville with his wife, and Barry Zito flew in to attend Mychael Urban's celebration of life. We had about a 15-minute conversation. It was really nice to see Barry. He's very happy. He's working on a musical career in Nashville where he plays and plucks around his guitar, and he's living a very happy, content life, raising a couple of kids. Barry Zito showed up for the Urban family, and it was really, really nice to see him. It was cool that he made it. So Barry Zito, confirmed, really good guy. And we are about to slip into Club Plus this Monday morning, drifting now officially into afternoon. Let's see what everyone is chatting about. But thank you so much for downloading this podcast so many times that today we will set a new month high of downloads, a new record for any of the months that we've been doing this. As soon as this podcast drops today, approaching 100,000, we'll celebrate when that happens. The subscribers to the YouTube page continue to climb, and I thank you all. Please follow, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And if you join me over on the AMP app, you're going to get a list today, a set list of songs that are practically perfect to fit the theme of a practically perfect weekend for the 49ers. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. We're going to slip into Club Plus, but the rest of you need to know that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, whew, he's gone. Let me get my black inside. All righty. All right. Here we go. Kim Schaefer. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw 70-20. I couldn't either. That was something else. I watched an awful lot of that game, too. It was just a pinball machine out there. RIP Cougar Rebel says, hey, but Damon, at least the Bears logo is cool. Yeah, look, everything with the Bears should be burned other than their uniforms. It's the only, even their stadium sucks. I mean, what a sad state of affairs. Bamboo Soldier. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Did that tick by me? I went to click on it, but it just bumped up. Sorry about that. Baron Red says, Sean Payton eating it is just so gratifying, isn't it? What do we got here? Fable JVC. Did I say that right? By the way, if I said that right, welcome. I've never said your name before. I haven't seen you in here before today. Welcome, Fable JVC. What happened to Mr. Unlimited? He was limited. $18 million reasons. Peyton loving his time. Yeah, is that what he's... God almighty, that's insane. That's not good. That is not good. Stevie P, fire Farhan. All I can tell you is that Larry Krueger dropped the greatest San Francisco Giant rant of all time last week, and I have cut it and isolated it as a video. Find it on my YouTube channel. It's the greatest 29 minutes of Larry Krueger's entire broadcasting life. He destroys the San Francisco Giants. Rightfully so. Here's the thing. There's not a single Giant fan who can disagree with a single thing he said, because he's right. He's right about pretty much all of it. RIP Cougar Rebel says, how do you even give up 10 touchdowns in a 60-minute game? Oh, there we go. Now the black ensign is back. Yeah, dude, it's so unless you're playing Madden on the I've never played a video game before right now mode where you set it to rookie level, it's hard to score 70 points in a game of Madden if you're actually playing it on any sort of respectable level. 70 points is what an SEC school does to a directional school. The Denver Broncos got treated like Eastern Colorado or some, Aurora State. I don't know. I don't know what other colleges there are in Colorado that are less than colleges, but they couldn't have done any worse than the Denver Broncos showing up to Miami. Iceman 0072 says, who's your favorite Transformer? Good question. RuPaul. It's the most famous Transformer there is, right? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Who is my favorite Transformer? Considering none of the movies are really watchable for someone my age, I'm going back to the cartoon. I thought Jazz was cool. I always liked Bumblebee. Everyone always liked Bumblebee. Starscream is a bad guy. I liked because I was a radio person, because I was always fascinated with audio, I always liked the Decepticon that was an actual tape player, and then the cassettes themselves would become Transformers. I always liked that guy. So there you go. Those are my favorite Transformers. Thank you for asking. Again, Fable JVC says, the San Francisco Giants fell apart right when I decided to buy MLB TV to watch their games. This is my fault. Well, thanks for at least admitting it. Thanks for owning up to it. Hey, let's not forget the Raiders barely beat Denver by 1. Well, you got two teams that aren't going to be very good when the year is over. Neither the Raiders or Broncos were expected to do anything this year. That's a good win for the Raiders. Let's not belittle that. They went in and handled their business on the road in the season opener. You don't need to apologize for winning in football. But any head coach who loses by 50 can drop all that attitude at the press conference. I mean, Sean Payton is like, what's your question? Here's my question. Did that feel like the scene with Jodie Foster and the accused on the pinball machine? Here's my question, you dick. Don't drop any attitude on me. You just got lost by 50. Come in here hat in hand, you son of a bitch. Nothing worse than a coach coming in with attitude getting dropped by 50. Ooh, I had a little splash. Little splashback. Even got a little bit of my glasses. Even clipped the splashback on the glasses. I don't use that mug very often. I need to learn how to drink out of it. Michael Chan says, I can't wait for the Broncos YouTuber who does the new worst Broncos game videos. I didn't even know that guy was out there. I'll take a look for it. Maybe it'll make me laugh before the day is over. Yeah, but there is every single time you look up the Denver Broncos are looking at the worst game of the year, right? Hold on now, Irwin. Always good to see you in here. Don't get cocky. It is no longer the Queen's Pound. The Queen is dead. Long live the King. That is the King's Pound, good man. The King's Pound. Let's face it. Big Mac, 86.75. Denver-Chicago is actually a good matchup. Yeah, I mean, at least it's even. Philip says, hey, fire everybody. You forgot the San Francisco Giants. Yeah, I mean, they're there. They're there. I bet you they try to get one more year out of this group, though. I don't think they got the guts to do it. Fire Kapler, install WOTUS. At least that would make people happy. But then you still got look at it this way. I think Farhan sucks the life out of baseball teams with the baseball he's trying to play. The Tom Verducci takedown was just spot on. Sky Collins says, do you think Mike McDaniel gets carded going to Miami clubs? All I can tell you is that Mike McDaniel, I don't think he's at the clubs. He is literally in the Dolphins facility just sharpening that knife every weekend. I don't think the guy's doing clubs. He lives, eats, sleeps, breathes football. Thomas B says, that was funny watching Colorado get destroyed by Oregon. I didn't think it was funny. I just thought it was decisive. And you know what? I thought that Dion, who's been incredibly, cocky peacock plumage in all of his press conferences so far, where, he's at, do you believe now? Do you believe? I actually thought he handled it all well. He faced the music. He's like, we were bad today. We were bad in every phase today. We were unprepared today. Dion put it right on himself. I think Dion's a good coach. He's a good coach, but he was punching way above Colorado's weight class with that game at Oregon. And what do they got? USC next week? Feels like Colorado's going to go from 3-0 to 3-2. UC Steve is still like, damn, 70 on a pro team? Yeah, it's aggressivo to say the least. Yadier Tercero. Did I get that right? I wonder if the Bunny Ranch revoked Jimmy G's all-inclusive pass after last night's performance. Again, look, Jimmy wasn't great, but he wasn't really the biggest problem. You had a Raiders secondary that's giving up bombs to Kenny Pickett. It's easy to blame Jimmy Garoppolo. I watched the city do it for many, many years. What is going on, though, is that Josh McDaniel has revoked the right to say that I trust my offense the way that he ended that game yesterday. That didn't make any sense to me at all. But I'm going to tell you right now, those whores at the Bunny Ranch would be happy to fuck Jimmy Garoppolo. It'd be the best thing that they could ever do. And by the way, when I say the whores at the Bunny Ranch, I mean that with all due respect. That is their proper title, after all. Wesley Brooks, super chatting. Bears and Broncos this week. Great show. Go Niners. Thank you. First of all, Wesley, thank you very much. Bears and Broncos, the game only a mother could love. And I think the Bears lose this game. And the Broncos are better than the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears might be the worst team in the NFL. Chicago Bears, New York Jets, maybe under their circumstances, are going to be a tough watch and tough sledding this year. But I think the Houston Texans are better than the Bears. I think the Chargers are better than the Bears. Even though the Vikings haven't won a game, I think they're better than the Bears. And I bet you the Denver Broncos win that game. That is how much incompetence I'm seeing out of Justin Fields and Matt Eberflus. Rockin' New Era 84. Bears versus Broncos. A cripple fight! Little South Park. I like that. Wait, the black and signed. It's a full display, right? Yeah, everyone's seen that. It's washing me out too much. I got to put the disco face back on. Yosarian, you like that Sports Bane?
Oh, thank you, Yosarian. You now have my permission to die.
Don't go dying on me, Osarian. Don't go dying. What about UC Steve? Can't be surprised that a team got 70 put on them in Miami. It's not like the players stayed in their hotel room the night before. Look at it this way. If getting 70 put on you in Miami were routine, it would have happened at some point to anybody in my lifetime. That has got nothing to do with South Beach. That was really good football, well coached, well executed, good quarterback, good offense against really bad football, poorly coached, poor execution, just awful. I mean, that wasn't Cuban sandwiches and strippers. No. Although, shout out Cubano sandwiches and Cuban strippers. Kevin Wilson, a.k.a. Zach Wilson. Did I get my Wilsons mixed up? What? Just not that guy. Not Aaron Rodgers. That should be the only name of the Jets quarterback. Not Aaron Rodgers drops back to pass. Not Aaron Rodgers, incomplete, looking for another target. Irwin, like and subscribe. Thank you, Irwin. Thank you very, very much. What else we got going on? Dame, you can buy tickets to the entire series against the Padres for a grand total of $9. Woof. Niner Empire 101. I mean, at that point, aren't you just wasting $9 though? I will watch the Giants for free on my TV. I'm not going out of my way to give them a single penny or any of my time that isn't convenient to me. It's a shame. Sporticus, some breaking news. The Miami Dolphins just scored again, everybody. 77 now for the Dolphins. Lynch and Shanahan may have the David Shaw Stanford contract, but yeah, kind of surprised the extension details haven't been released. It just shows you how out of the loop local media is uncovering the team that is in front of it. If the 49ers don't give the information to Schefter or Breer, that information isn't getting out based on anybody's work around here. And look, Mayoko and Barros and Lombardi, they're all good at their jobs, but this team controls information like it's launch codes. They don't share them. I would want the length of the contract extension, if not the salary. I mean, I assume it's at least 10, 12, 13, 15 million a year for Shanahan. I don't care what the GM makes. How long are they going to be together? That's something that I would want out there for agents to know, for players and free agents to consider, knowing how long this regime is installed. That to me is a point that helps business happen briskly. So you should share that, the length of the contract, right? Chef A. By the way, Chef A, who reached out, slid into the DMs after she saw my brisket videos saying, nice bark, nice looking good in the backyard brisket. Chef A offering to come on by and give some home cooking chef tips. I told her, I was like, we're going to make that happen. I love when a chef teaches me something. I always learn when I'm around a professional chef. I'm a good amateur chef, but the difference between an amateur chef and actual chef, that's a big difference. So I'm going to take you up on that, Chef A, who says, Damon, one of the most embarrassing things about this weekend was one of the most interesting things about this weekend was your freaking brisket. Hell yeah. The brisket was good, man. I saw when this show is over today, when I'm done giving you the nearly perfect playlist on the AMP app, which will begin in a matter of moments here, I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to get myself a little brisket sandwich. You know what I also did, Chef A? I made some Bob Gibson sauce, which is white barbecue sauce. It's a little mayo, a little bit of water to thin it out, salt, pepper, paprika, a little dash of sugar, and horseradish. And it's a white, spicy, and apple cider vinegar, which any good barbecue sauce pretty much has in it. But the Bob Gibson sauce, not Bob Gibson St. Louis Cardinals, Bob Gibson Alabama Pitmaster, Bob Gibson. Again, if you're going to rip off from the best, right? Sporticus again. James Conner went full man running the ball against the Dallas Cowboys. He sure did. He's good. Look, he can beat you. He's good. He's good. The Rondell Moore, there are weapons in Arizona. And the quarterback that they've handed the rings to isn't bad. Not awful. So look at it this way. The best way to lose to the Arizona Cardinals is to start looking past them at your next opponent. Kyle Shanahan is good enough to make sure that doesn't happen to this year because this year is too important for shit like that to happen. So the whole goal, I don't care how it happens. I don't care if it's a 50-point win, a 5-point win, a 1-point win, a half a point win, doesn't matter. The goal this week for the San Francisco 49ers is to get to the Cowboys game at 4-0. That's it. That's your goal. Get there at 4-0. What about taking that turnover thrown to the locker room? Must have been a little awkward for Colorado. Do they have what do they have, like a seat? I don't know what Colorado's turnover team sideline celebration is. Like in Akron, you get a tire, a full-on 22-inch radial tire that you then put over your head. I took a picture of it. It was so good. I shared it on Twitter. And again, you can't be talking about Akron without giving Dave Feldhaus his flowers.
No sound effect for Dave Feldhaus.
That's for old school sports phone listeners right there. Hope my boy Dave Feldhaus is doing well. Postman in Capitola, indeed it is.
Maximum football!
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Oh, Stevie P dropping the no sound effect for Dave Feldhaus. See, again, if you've been around, you know. Colorado's going to get waxed by USC too. I'll agree with you on that, man. But dude, look, Caleb Williams and Shedeur Sanders, it's a pretty good quarterback matchup, right? Dude, Shedeur Sanders can play. What he doesn't have in front of him is the offensive line that he needs. They got beaten at the line of scrimmage. Chef A, just a bad weekend to be a Colorado football fan. Yeah. Oh, laser show. I like that. Laser show. I think I got laser show here on the board. Where is it? I think Jillian set up the board, and honestly, I haven't even really figured out where all the fun shit is. Oh, yeah.
Laser show.
There you go.
Laser show.
Laser show.
Oi, oi, oi!
Oi, oi, oi to the laser show. Damon, did we say laser show? Again, I'm a little behind here on the chat. Thank you very much. Yosarian.
No sound effects for San Francisco Giants baseball either.
Yeah, no, none. No sound effects. La Profesora says the ESPN broadcast of last night's game was very telling, making a clear contrast between what Roberts has created in LA and what Kapler and Zaidi have done in San Francisco, and they're right. Yeah, you got a team where everyone understands what they're doing, because most every single guy that the Dodgers running out there is, oh, what's the difference between the Dodgers and the Giants? Oh yeah, actual full-time real major leaguers. It's amazing how less creative you need to be when you just have actual major leaguers on your team. What a concept. You think the Giants might want to look at that? Otis Bird saying, yeah, man. Terrible moment for Yaz. Kind of a microcosm of the season. It really was. Ooh, I like this. Rockin' New Era. Fraudhan. Again, it's not that Farhan doesn't know what he's doing. I think he's very good at the margins of the roster. But like Larry said, he's the worst salesman of all time. If your GM keeps on overselling what's going to happen in an offseason and doesn't deliver, that looks bad. It looks bad to the fans, it looks bad to agents, and it looks bad to future free agents who start thinking that the Giants are the team that cried wolf. Not to mention they play a style of baseball that I don't think free agents are saying, yeah, let me go do that. Let me become a part-time player. Let me not know what my job is every day. As a pitcher, let me be, just bitten by the concept of an opener whenever they frequently want to use one. The Giants play an unlikable brand of baseball that is bad for ball. Philip says, bye-bye, Kapler and Ferranco. Take your anal lictics with you. I don't even think I needed to share that one. But yeah, I guess it's another way to look at analytics. No shots at A's or A's fans are required here. A's fans didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, I'm glad you're hearing that Barry Zito was there. A couple guys from the station, too. I don't want to tell you who was there because then I'm starting to tell you who was. I'll tell you one guy because it was a funny moment. So Dibley, who obviously Willard and Dibbs are in the time slot that Ray and I used to occupy. Dibley comes into the church, gives me the around my back hug. We haven't seen each other since it happened, but I'm cool with Dan. I'm always, look, it's not like they took my job. They were given the job once I was removed from it. So I got no ill will towards Willard or Dibbs. I get a hug from Dibley behind me. He's like, hey, mind if I sit next to you? And I was like, hey, wouldn't you rather just take my seat? But it was good to see Dibley. Otis Bird. That's big time. I remember Urban and Zito were good friends, and they really were. That's the thing. I remember that Urban would tell me that one of his, like, oh, did I do this the right way? He felt a little bit guilty because he was covering Barry Zito, and he's like, we've become friends. Can I remain a unbiased journalist with someone that I'm actually becoming friends with? I'm like, I don't think you really need to worry about it. And then Zito got the $126 million from the Giants, and so it was a topic that he continued to cover. But look, it was cool that Zito was there, man. By the way, he looked good too. Zito looking good. He looked so happy. His hair looked good. He was grown out long. That was a happy Barry Zito in a otherwise very sad afternoon. But it really was. I will give the Urban family all the credit in the world for turning that into a celebration of Michael's life. A lot of good, fun stories were shared about someone who cared an awful lot. And it's really a shame that he's gone. And so we'll be keeping Mychael Urban's memory alive every single Friday. We're going to give you a good for ball, bad for ball segment brought to you by our friends at Uncle Boys. All right. What else we got here? Mr. Unlimited went from Mr. Unlimited to Mr. Unwatchable. And look, I'm agreeing with you, and I'll also tell you that Russell Wilson might officially at least be checking the box of I'm the least of this team's problems right now, but it's still a problem. Dude, Sean Payton, again, Sean Payton is done. It ain't going to happen for Sean. Not in Denver. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. He lost that entire team in perpetuity with a loss like that. Mike in San Bruno. Mondays suck, just in and out today, but the best part, I can watch this, catch you guys later. Barry Zito, good for ball, very nice. Mike in San Bruno, congrats to your Steelers. Dominated that crowd last night. Again, the Raiders are never going to have a home game again. What do we got? Maximum Damon. What did I do? What did I say? I don't know. Fish and chips. Thank you very much. Another one of this. Michael, it was amazing. You'll love it, Damon. Oh, what are we talking about? I forgot. Oh, the channel is called That's Good Sports. That must be the Bronco fan who continues to update the worst game in franchise history over and over again. Baron Red says, Wotus is too smart to join this dumpster. I mean, look, I think if given the opportunity to be the next manager of the San Francisco Giants, Ron Wotus would take that. And he would be instantly more likable than Gabe. Nothing about you feels authentic anymore, Kapler. Thomas B. That stadium sounded like there were more Steelers fans in attendance. There will be more opposing fans in attendance at every Raiders game going forward that they play for the rest of their existence in Las Vegas. Again, that's not me making fun of them. Mark Davis has criticized how few Raiders fans are attending Raiders games in Las Vegas. Alan says, so if you took the Broncos plus 49, you lost. Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. Those are good Cubans, by the way. Those are good Cubans. The Miami Cuban or Cuban strippers? I don't know. Either way, nice. Anthony, how about this? Stefan is the man, says Anthony. Stefan of bottomlinebets.com. Damon, I went up $520 yesterday. Yeah, that's what happens when you go 5-0. Stefan is hitting games. Stefan is hitting games at a level that's nearly mathematically impossible. Just fire. Dame, happy Yom Kippur to our favorite honorary member of the tribe. Niner Empire 101, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much. True Blue Forever. More length than girth. We talking about that meat stick I played for you on Friday? I hope you liked it. I hope you liked the meat stick. Meat stick not on our practically perfect song set list, which we are about to get to. I love everyone talking to each other. I love the true, actual friendships that have formed here. And I can't wait to put them all back together in the same room November 5th, and we'll have more details for you the closer that we get. But November 5th is going to be the next Plus Mania 2 Electric Boogaloo at Victory Hall in San Francisco. Larry Krueger has been confirmed. He will be there with us. And I don't know, we'll tape a podcast or something. We'll have some fun that day. I'm looking forward to that for sure. All right. All right, that's about it, folks. Are you ready to hear some practically perfect songs? Because that's what I've got for you. David Ryder says McDonald's cooked their fries in beef tallow up into 1990. And that's why the McDonald's fries used to be better than they are right now. You are right about all of that, David. I don't know how that topic came up, but I'm glad that we covered it on today's program. RIP Cougar Rebel says, hey, Damon, Mark Davis once said that the world is home to Raiders Nation. Yeah, but the neighborhood they live in isn't. Oh, fish and chips, PH. I like that. Thank you very much. By the way, there is no fish today other than your daily Tweezer reprise coming up in the AMP playlist, which is right around the corner. Ernie Chavez says, look, man, you got to love the randomness of some of these facts. Matt says, bring back that tallow. And yeah, bring back the tallow, everyone. Bring back the beef tallow. What did they say? Like, oh, we got to use a better brand of fat or something, or this fat is too expensive or bad for you or whatever. And I don't know. I mean, the whole point is you're not going to make anything at McDonald's healthy, right? So just make it delicious. Okay. What a fun Monday show. I think we covered it all. I think we really whipped around the entire world of sports. We whipped around the world of Miami nightlife to Vegas whorehouses to beef tallow. It's been a very interesting Club Plus, to say the least. And all I can tell you is that if you want in the VIP room, now is the time to get yourself over to the AMP app for what I'm calling the practically perfect playlist. That's how it's going to go down. Thank you very much for hanging out today. Great to see you. Great to be with you. Thank you for making the channel such a success and all your loyalty, all the clicks. It's starting to add up. It really is. And I thank you all for it. So much so that I invite you over to the AMP app where I'm going to play some practically perfect music for you and then tip my hat cap and say goodbye. But I'll tell you right now, you don't need to go home. You just can't stay here. Follow me to the VIP lounge over on the AMP app. Follow and then hit follow Damon Bruce Plus. Hit like, subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks so much for being here today.